February 2020, Melly was involved in a multi-inmate fight inside the day room of his area unit and was given a DR for his role in the fight. October 2020, placed on a room restriction for refusing to go back to his cell as he was trying to hide while on the phone.
And developing now, there's a new push to get rapper YNW Melly out of jail. He's currently awaiting retrial for two childhood friends, but a new lawsuit alleges he's being held in inhumane conditions.
After 6 years in prison, YNW Melly's next trial isn't expected to start until January 2027. The Florida rapper is the focus of inmates who want money on their books, commissary clothes, and other items you can imagine. In 2020, however, things were different. King Von still gave YNW Melly a daily call.
These look icy, don't they? Look.
In prison, YNW Melly was incredibly relaxed. He was custom making $100,000 chains with his jeweler and a jail phone, just like he was in the free world. YNW Slime, his brother, also chastised him for such a
I would assume that he spent a lot of money on lawyers. Like an amount that would probably...
That kid spent a lot of money on a lot of things that shouldn't have been spent on.
Really? Like what else?
And cars, jewelry. And he's not even out to wear the jewelry. I'm like, why are you buying jewelry and you're not here to wear the jewelry?
No, definitely lawyers are probably the best thing you can spend
That's
money
what
on.
bro. But yeah. He's good with lawyers, bro. Like, money ain't an issue for lawyers. Like, he's fine, but it's just like, it was a lot of stuff that should have went to lawyers that he didn't spend on lawyers. And I'm like, bro. And now it's like, he don't even want the chain no more.
Over time, YNW Melly's prison existence became much worse. A new rapper named Rico Reckless would be added to a prisoner block in 2022, just before World War I. Melly was placed in solitary confinement after a jail altercation with another rapper. Chicago, Illinois-based Rico Reckless. They are both in jail awaiting trial as we speak. The following is what YNW Melly would occupy. He had been kept in solitary confinement for months before being moved to a new cell block, where he would later meet another inmate named Nicholas Lewis. Nicholas Lewis made great friends with YNW Melly and had already devised a strategy to escape from the county jail. It was this that made Melly want to go with him. On April 11, 2022, the Broward Sheriff's Office received a classified report indicating Melly's attorney brings in 2 handcuff keys to help detainees Nicholas Lewis and Jamal Demons, who are both housed in the same main jail unit, with their escape plan. Additionally, the informant revealed that Lewis was in possession of illegal items. The news stories about Melly's attempt to escape made him look terrible, and at the time, YNW Melly's mother was quite upset because her son had just been placed back in solitary confinement.
Okay, so I'm at work and I just seen this crazy story. First of all, this is just another tactic for them to try to literally just tarnish my son's character and everything. They do not want him having attorney visits in person, which will cause for ineffective counsel. So we went to court for that, and they took his phone calls and they have him locked down. They had no evidence whatsoever that his attorneys did anything wrong to prove these accusations, but they knew it would get picked up by the media. So when we get ready to pick a jury, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, it's gonna be, oh, this kid tried to escape. Oh, this kid tried to do all these things. This is all fake because they do not have a case.
He would learn from his mother that the government had no evidence against Melly. In front of the court and jury before his first trial, they were trying to paint him in a bad light and imply that he was trying to escape from prison. This is where the feds came in, though. How they really felt about YNW Melly, which changed his life forever. Then, in 2023, the Florida police said that they were accusing YNW Melly of witness tampering, which entailed calling his ex-girlfriend from the jail and compelling her to leave the country so she could not.
State filing 6 new charges against Demmons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
Not only is the witness tampering case, it's unrelated to Melly's ongoing case concerning the deaths of his 2 best friends, but it also gave the county jail enough grounds to deny Melly access to his mail, phone, and weekly family visits. As a result, Melly will no longer have any human rights. Only the other inmates in his cell block can reach him, and he is unable to contact his family. Jaime King, his mother, had a very tough time. She would reveal in an interview that the county jail had denied her son a phone and even the right to check his own mail.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
She would go on to claim that she feels helpless because YNW Melly wasn't even given decent treatment when she was in prison, proving that even famous rappers are treated the same in prison.
You saw Melly's statement just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
The media would soon notice, even going so far as to declare that YNW Melly isn't getting the required care at the county jail, according to local news. In response, Charleston White said that this is the way YNW Melly should live. The fact that he is a well-known rapper does not warrant special treatment.
The YNW Melly. I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing about being mistreated. When you done chose to play somebody.
Renowned rapper Moosey would provide a different viewpoint on Melly's life in prison. Speaking about the stress, Jamie King has also been going through
Okay, so then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a...
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
Melly's perspective would change once the police arrested Mariah, Melly's ex-girlfriend, who had been overseas for a few years at the airport. She missed her family. Even though she was eager to get home, she was immediately arrested at the airport.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demmons' first trial in 2023.
Mariah made a deal with the judge, agreeing to testify against Melly in exchange for being allowed to go home until the trial. Mariah immediately accepted the disturbing evidence they found on her iCloud account. Thus, it was the worst news YW Melly could have been given. Proof that YNW Melly had forced her to not testify in the last trial, the manipulating of witnesses, is evident. The instant YNW Melly confesses at the trial, he will be given a life sentence regardless of whether he is actually responsible for Saka Zaire and Juvie's deaths. YNW Juvie's father even made public that he knew. Melly was
now charged with witness tampering. There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, trying to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
YNW Melly is unable to use a phone, check his mail, or visit his family once a week because of all of that together. However, since then, his incarceration has only become worse. I'll explain. In 2025, it was revealed that, in yet another case, YNW Melly's double retrial had been delayed. The 4th District Court of Appeals granted a delay in the case during a hearing on Friday to allow the state attorney's office to review a motion. As a result of the prolongation, Melly will effectively spend an additional 2 years behind bars because the trial has been moved from September to January 2027. But by delaying the trial, the federal government has more time to engage in negotiations with YW Portland, which they have undertaken already. A no communication order has been filed in the YNW Melly trial, the news report said. The decree completely cuts Melly and Portland off. There is no conversation, no lawyer talk, just silence while the prosecution prosecutes Melly and him together in the next trial. Pressing YW Portland to wrap
here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Melly will be found guilty at the next trial since YW Portland was able to confirm all of the evidence against her. The judge announced that Melly would stand trial against Portland whenever that trial takes place.
Mr. Henry is going to remain set for trial September the 10th at 9 o'clock with Mr. Demon, pending whatever future motion that I may hear. I'm in another capital case right now. I have 4 hearing dates left available between now and September the 10th. I gave the parties those 4 dates, and I'm holding all of those dates and times open only for these 2 defendants. So anything that you need for, okay? Yes.
If he realized that he didn't do this terrible act, Portland would likely accuse Melly, just as Melly did against Portland first. It is not enough for him to sit there and get a life sentence. Trials. The fact that Melly and Portland haven't communicated since the first trial could surprise you. This is due to Melly's lawyer's initial claim that YW Portland was the...
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in the pocket, not Cortland Henry.
It was Melly's own lawyer who accused Portland of lying to the federal government. Portland had powder residue on his hands and was the final one with a Juvie and Sackhazer. Even a forensic scientist who covered the fatalities was brought in to elaborate on Portland's possession of the powder residue.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of pot residue and 2 2 component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of residue and 1 2 component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was residue present on the hands.
On the other hand, YNW Bortland would later state that he is not pleased with this. For this reason, the news stated that YNW Bortland tweeted a mysterious message the day Melly's mistrial was announced. Included in the tweet is the phrase, "Mind? Games don't work on people like me," along with a handshake symbol that implies he's taking a deal. What's even more concerning is that Bortland has every reason to turn on YNW Melly because of what was recently found in
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortland was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortland, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Dimmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortland allegedly tampered with the witness.
These are images of alleged notes that were discovered during last week's home raid on YNW Bortland, according to Bryson Paul. Mortland drew the locations of particular jurors' seats on a sheet of paper and described each juror's look in the notes, which were kept with the Broward clerks. On a jury day before the first trial began, everyone was given a chance to introduce themselves. But in the courtroom, YNW Bortland was talking to the judge about the trial date. On the right side of the courtroom, he made mental notes about how each juror looked. After returning home, I drew them all out on paper. It seems that his best friend would go slide for YNW Melly.
Keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortland, how the you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy shit. Like, come the on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
The YNW, as Melly's attorneys started accusing him of the crime. Bortland just tossed the piece of paper in an empty bag. This makes Melly's condition considerably more concerning and will affect his incarceration until he is sentenced to prison. The next thing Bortland will do is able to confirm all of the new evidence that the prosecutors plan to use against Melly. One piece of new evidence they plan to present during the trial is a Facebook post that depicts YNW Melly and Young Thug trying to assert that Melly is a part of the Red Street clique. Similar to Young Thug.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with him. And he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with Mr. Demons has the big B hand signs posted, displayed.
Right, and these individuals again, I'm assuming that's also the Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
He even attempted to persuade his lawyers to simply allow them to use it in court, because Mortland knows he will still confirm the facts. According to reports in the media, today's hearing marks the first time Melly publicly went against his legal team's advice in court. Instead of arguing back and forth, Melly was heard yelling at his lawyers to just let them use the evidence, since doing so would delay the trial, which is exactly.
Yes, sir. Against our advice, our client wants to proceed.
You object to that? Their request, we need to determine if it's automatic stay.
Based upon what our client has instructed us.
She yelled, "I don't care," according to several witnesses inside the courtroom that day. Not that I'm a member of any gang. Well, they can't.
924-071. Call for an automatic stay. While
they were aggravators. They go to membership in a gang. There were things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravator, that's the death penalty. Aggravator, that's the enhancement itself, Your Honor. That was charged. He was charged in committing the murder for the further conviction, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
They also want to use the new evidence that a former OBLOC member and friend of King Von provided, which disclosed a secret that Melly had told Von before Von's passing and Melly's imprisonment. The two enjoyed a tight bond. King Von, however, gave the people of OBLOC instructions after Melly asked him for advice on how to respond.
Did Von really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Von was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around?
They would also be able to respond to a key point with Portland's assistance. What was the context of the events that took place hours after the crime? Prosecutors were able to obtain a Facebook video showing Melly dancing in a parking lot with YNW Portland.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! The dog still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.